All right, so I'm just going to get straight to the point. Are you needy? Are you clingy? Do you even realize that you're needy or that you're clingy? If you don't, and you stumbled across this video, then I would recommend watching the video all the way through to identify whether you've fallen into needy and clingy behaviors. This is something that I find quite frequently with my one-on-one sessions, individuals that I work with all the time, is this lack of security within oneself that results in you becoming needy and clingy and dependent in your relationship. And look, there's no judgment at all. It's just recognizing whether you are or not and consciously making the decision to make healthy changes in order to maintain and sustain a healthy relationship. I think there is this common judgment and criticism around being needy and clingy. And the first thing that I want to tell you is if you find that you are needy and clingy, there's a reason for that. Maybe there's something within the relationship that you're lacking or that you're missing. Maybe you haven't been able to communicate your needs effectively, and therefore your partner is unaware of what you want and what you need within the relationship, and they're not delivering. So I don't believe that neediness and clinginess just happens. Right? It comes from a very particular place. Maybe you've had really bad relationships in the past that have traumatized you or left you with the inability to trust. And therefore, you have a tendency of expressing yourself in more of a needy way. Maybe you're not getting what you need out of the relationship and you're just struggling with communicating what those needs are. There is a reason for it. And it doesn't mean that it is who you are. It doesn't mean that you have to identify as that type of person. You have the control and the ability to change those behaviors. In case you don't know who I am, my name is Danny and I'm a life and relationship coach, and I created this channel, I created this community for you, for us, individuals within the queer community who feel like there is not a resource and who want a healthy relationship, who want to learn how to be the best version of yourself that you possibly can be in order to have a loving and fulfilling relationship. And let me tell you off the bat, it is absolutely possible. There's so many misconceptions around us being able to have healthy relationships, and that's just not true. Right? The fundamentals of a relationship are all the same. Yes, maybe the application of it is a little bit different between heterosexual and same-sex relationships, but at the end of the day, understanding what a healthy relationship looks like and working on ourselves to improve ourselves and come to the table ready and prepared to put in the work, of course you can have a healthy relationship, and that is what I am here to help you with. So, when it comes to neediness and clinginess, the first thing that we want to do is we want to self-reflect. Take a moment, really. Take a beat, take a breath, and ask yourself some tough questions. Why am I being needy and clingy right now? Am I getting everything that I need out of this relationship? If I'm not, the things that I need, are they realistic or are they unrealistic? And how do we differentiate between something that is realistic and unrealistic, right? So I'll give you an example. I think something that is realistic is, let's say, for example, you get into arguments with your partner and you never seem to be able to resolve a conflict. I think a realistic expectation would be for you and your partner to be able to sit down and have a very open and honest and candid conversation about the issue. That's super realistic. Now, I think it's unrealistic if whenever you guys get into an argument, you expect your partner to go out and buy you a Maserati or a Porsche. That's completely unrealistic. But if you are in a situation where you are with somebody who has the ability to do that, I mean, kudos to you, but that's not really going to fix the relationship, right? So being very honest with ourselves, sitting with ourselves, and as uncomfortable as that may be, we grow the most when we are uncomfortable. Pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone is what actually helps us to start developing as a person as an individual. It helps us to really understand how we tick, and it allows us to become stronger within our own identity. So if you are uncomfortable with that and you just don't know even where to start, I can help you with that. I'm more than happy to help you with that. Or you can utilize some of the trainings that I've created. You can take a look at some of the articles that I have on the website, anything that it is that you feel like you will need resource-wise in order to get to that place. But again, I just want to be able to provide you with some information that you can utilize now to start to make changes. So again, the first thing is really just taking the time and self-reflecting, right? I think understanding what needs and expectations are not being met, like I said, in the relationship. And is this a common pattern behavior? Is this a common pattern of behavior for you? Do you find yourself in relationships continually where your anxieties start to get the better of you? So for me, I want to make sure that in this process, you also start to avoid some of the common pitfalls, right? So when we become anxious, when we become needy, when we become clingy, there's certain things that we may do that drive our partner crazy. And the first one is don't overtext, right? And what I mean by that is if you are uncomfortable with something, if you are feeling anxious, don't start blowing up your partner's phone, asking them where they are, what they're doing, when they're coming home, how come they've been out for so long, why they're taking so long to respond to your texts. Because at the end of the day, that's your own personal insecurity that you were dealing with. Now, there are certain circumstances and situations that may have led you to do that, right? Maybe there was infidelity within the relationship. Maybe there was a breaking of trust in some way. There was a lie that was said that made you feel uncomfortable. Whatever the case may be, I empathize with you, but bombarding your partner with texts is not going to help the situation. The second thing to avoid is wanting to spend every single second of the day with them, right? Even though a relationship is about a partnership, it's also two individuals that are coming together. And I emphasize two individuals. And I don't mean that in the sense of being this fully independent person who's just coming into a relationship because you can and you want to. A relationship is a partnership. It's 50-50. But you also have to keep in mind that you are your own person. You have your own identity. There are certain needs and expectations that you have that your partner may not. So it's about coming together and understanding those things and working together to build something new and to build something strong, right? A strong foundation. But that takes work. That takes time. And it's about teamwork when you're doing it, but not forgetting that your partner has the right to be an autonomous individual. They have the right to go hang out with their friends and you not be there. They have the right to have their own hobbies and you not be involved, and vice versa. That is actually incredibly normal. And the third thing to avoid is questioning them continuously. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? How come you did this instead of that? You didn't kiss me today like you did yesterday. Is there something going on? Is there something wrong? Overly questioning your partner actually starts to show them how insecure you are, and it creates a lack of attraction. You start to actually push your partner away instead of bringing them closer. So how do we start to avoid some of these common pitfalls? And for me, I would say let's start to recognize some attachment styles. What are some things, or what are some attachment styles that you feel are applicable to you? And there's several different attachment styles. There's an anxious preoccupied, which is the lack of love and affection and attention as a child sometimes, which results in fear of abandonment. Again, oftentimes I find that this comes from childhood, but it can also be from previous relationships that may have resulted in some kind of trauma. And therefore you feel the need to be around your partner 24/7. There is an anxious avoidant attachment style, which is, desperately wanting love and affection, but there's a fear of getting hurt. So therefore you pull away. So even though you want that love and affection, it has to be on your terms. And if you start to feel like somebody's getting too close to you, you start to pull away from them and you start to put up those walls. There's avoidance, which is you're not good with emotions or commitment, and therefore you're less available emotionally. And one of the most important parts or things that you need in a relationship is the ability to be vulnerable, because that vulnerability helps to bond the two of you. It helps you guys to emotionally connect. And if you are avoidant, it's going to be very difficult to connect on a deeper level. And the last part of this is a secure attachment style, right? Which means you're balanced. You're okay either way. You're able to look at a situation objectively. You're able to allow your partner to be their independent, autonomous self. You're fine being on your own, but you're also fine being emotionally vulnerable and available. And if that is you, then I commend you, because that actually requires a lot of work, a lot of self-development, and being very secure in who you are as a person. If this is something that you feel you want more information on, because you never really heard of attachment styles, I will provide a link for you in the detail box below, or in the description box with a link to a training about attachment styles and how to unpack them and how to navigate that. I will also provide a link for a one-on-one coaching session if you feel like that's what you need to really understand a little bit more about attachment styles. I work with people day in and day out about these types of situations. And again, it will help you to start to regain control of yourself, your emotions, so you stop being needy and clingy. This is not going to be an overnight solution. This is something that will take some time, but you can start to apply these things now to make changes. And that's the most important part, right? Taking the very first step. That is always the most difficult thing. And again, if you need help with that, I am more than happy to support you. If you found this video helpful, make sure you leave a comment down below. I created this channel, I created this community for you guys. So obviously your words, your thoughts matter. Maybe you've been through this before. Maybe you've had a partner that was anxious or clingy. Maybe you are that individual and you're currently going through that situation. This is a safe space. And I read as many of the comments as I can, and I interact with you as much as I possibly can. Also, don't forget, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And if there's anything that you want to know, if there's any content that you want to see, any videos that you want to see, any questions you have, let me know. I am more than happy to create videos around questions that you guys have. Again, my name is Danny. I am a life and relationship coach. Hope you guys are staying happy and healthy, and I'll see you guys in the next video.